In 1826, Enthampré-Savarin, a French lawyer and politician, wrote, Dis-moi ce que tu manges, je te dirai ce que tu es, which translates to, Tell me what you eat, and I will tell you what you are. This sentence has evolved in the English language into the saying, You are what you eat, which, at first glance, may seem absurd. How could what one eats influence one's health and one's mind so much? However, increasing research is suggesting there may be more to the saying than one would think.
Our diets are changing. In developed countries, there has been a shift towards poor quality Western-style diets that contain red meat, high-fat foods like saturated fats, refined sugar, and low fiber. Studies in humans show that poor diet quality may increase the risk of depression and inflammation, and rodent studies show alterations in memory and increased anxiety from Western-style diets. Western diets also contain preservatives, and these independently have been found in rodents to change food intake, increase inflammation, increase anxiety in males, and impact social behavior in females. In contrast, a healthy, diverse diet may be mood boosting. A study in humans found that better quality diets were associated with less depression and stress. And the Mediterranean diet, a diet chock full of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and good fats, is emerging as a potential gold standard for health, with lower rates of depression being reported in people eating a med diet, and a study in the elderly finding improved cognition and reduced inflammation. So, how is diet influencing our mood? Let me present to you the gut-brain axis, a bidirectional communication link between the gut and the brain. What's happening in our gut can influence our mood and behavior, and if you've ever experienced butterflies in your stomach, you may know that our brain can control movement of food through our gut. And stress can influence the permeability of our intestines and the diversity of a key player in the gut-brain axis, our microbiota. Our microbiota is a collection of bacteria, viruses, archaea, protozoa, and fungi, and is found throughout our body, with highest levels being found in our gut, and most research focused on the bacterial component of our microbiota. Bacterial cells in our gut are thought to outnumber the human cells in our body, and we contain about 100 times more microbial genes in our body than human genes, suggesting that we may actually be more bacteria than human. As of now, there doesn't seem to be a perfect composition of our microbiota, but we do know that diversity in our microbiota is important for health. Alterations in the microbiota, such as loss of diversity, has been linked to gastrointestinal and neurological disorders like colitis, obesity, irritable bowel syndrome, Alzheimer's disease, autism, multiple sclerosis, allergies, and even some types of cancer, to name a few. A study in rodents found that transfer in the microbiota via a poop transplant from depressed people into rats was found to also transfer depressive-like behaviors. One of the main ways we can change our microbial composition is through our diet. Studies report that significant changes in our microbial composition can occur within only 1 to 4 days after changing our diet. And it is estimated that diet accounts for 50% of microbiota variability. So, when we eat food, we're also feeding our microbiota. Just like how different types of animals eat different foods, different types of bacteria eat different types of food. And so, reducing food diversity may impact microbial diversity. Do you remember how we talked about the Western diet at the start? Well, humans and rodents on Western-style diets have less diverse microbiomes. In contrast, the Mediterranean diet is full of dietary fiber that only our microbiota may be able to eat. Bacteria break down these fibers through fermentation, and in doing so, produce short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs, which are thought to be an important player in the microbiota gut-brain axis communication. Studies in germ-free mice without a microbiota, have shown that they have a decreased protective barrier of their brain, but giving these mice SCFAs restored this important protective brain barrier. In another study, giving mice the SCFA butyrate was found to prevent the changes in connectivity between brain regions and neuroinflammation that were typically produced from a high-fat diet. These SCFAs have also been reported to help behavior. Another study in mice found that SCFAs could prevent negative behavioral outcomes like depression and anxiety behaviors that typically emerge from psychosocial stress, such as bullying and overcrowding.
So, are we really what we eat? Well, more research needs to be done before we have the answer to this question. We need more human studies before we can confirm whether all these findings in rodents are really translatable to humans. However, as we've seen, increasing research is highlighting an important role of the diet and microbiota on our physical and mental health. So, next time you eat, remember, you're not just feeding yourself, you're also feeding your microbial farm. The foods that you consume may dictate the health of this farm, which in turn could dictate your own health.